Well, now Joe Douglas put out a statement after Haason Reddick demanded a trade and said, look, we have informed Haason that we will not trade him. He's expected to be here with his teammates, and he will continue to be fined per the collective bargaining agreement if he does not report. Since the trade discussions back in March, we've been clear, direct, and consistent with our position. Our focus will remain on the guys we have here as we prepare for the regular season. This is what sports television is all about. Breaking news, drama. The best soap opera on television is the one that we will discuss, the National Football League. James Jones, coming to you for the Jets dialogue. How concerning is this breaking, extremely urgent news going on right now? Haason Reddick wants out before he even got in.
Yeah. It's concerning because, Jets, what are you thinking? You traded for this man, and this man wanted a new contract. He let the Philadelphia Eagles know, I want a new contract. If not, trade me. So the Jets, when you traded for him, you think he just going to say, I just wanted a new contract from the Eagles? No, I want a new contract, period. So I'm not going to step on this field until I have a new contract. I don't care nothing about the communication. My man wants a new contract, and he's let the Eagles know, and he's let you know I'm not stepping in between these lines until I have a contract. So I blame this on the Jets. When you trade for a player like this, you should have a contract already negotiated with him so he can be there. I do not understand it. That's like somebody trading for Brandon Ayuk right now with no contract and thinking he's going to trot out there. No, he didn't trot out there for the Niners. He wants a new contract. This is the same thing with Haason Reddick. I want a new contract. I was not going to step in between the lines for the Philadelphia Eagles. They traded me. I don't know what you thought to think that I was going to step in between the lines for you with no new contract. It makes no sense. So the Jets knew this was coming. I do not understand how they did not have a deal in place. It's just wild to me.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's silliness. It's nonsense. I mean, it was nonsense. You knew he was going to demand a contract. He was demanding a contract. What did I miss? Did I miss something? There's got to be something that we all missed. Because when you trade for a player that asks out because he wants a contract, and not just any old player, like not just some guy.
One of them ones.
One of the guys that you should want there and need there, if you're going to do all the other things you say you're planning on doing, you want to have the word Super Bowl on your lips. You need some juice behind that, and it can't just be your 40-year-old quarterback. You need him.
Yeah.
That's why you traded for him. But you also traded for him knowing he was going to want a contract. What's the surprise? What's the reveal here? Why is this happening? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this is common sense, basic business stuff in the NFL. Yeah. If you trade for a high-level elite player that cannot be paid by the team that he is with, that wants a contract, you think the Eagles would have liked to keep him? Of course. Duh. But they didn't because they can't afford him. What makes you think you are not going to be able to afford him? You have to give him a deal. That's how this works. So I don't know what they're talking about. That statement sounds nice, but I mean, it makes sense why he hasn't been around at all, because whatever they said to him at the beginning is, if they're being consistent like they say they are, was clearly the wrong answer from the beginning. It's just, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not surprised.
Shady, how concerning?
It's a bit concerning for me. I mean, I'm surprised because when you got a player that is arguing with a team for a contract, right? So you already know about it. You're GMs, we do our homework. And when you trade for him, normally you give him a contract. You know, okay, I'm trading for a guy that wants a contract.
Correct.
So you know you got to give him one, right? But you know what else is really, like, I guess concerning about the Jets for me is, so you guys had a 10-sack edge rusher, right? Huff, right? Yeah. And you trade him to the Eagles, right?
He got signed in free agency.
I'm sorry. So they didn't sign him. Okay. But you had one in the building, right? And he's younger than Haason Reddick. Now, I don't think he's better, but he's younger. So why I'm confused is you had a D-end that's younger that had 10-plus sacks. That's pretty good, okay? And you let him walk to, I guess, get somebody better. Cool. So you get somebody better, and you make a trade, and now you don't want to pay him? He got 1 year left on his contract. What player that's really, really good is not going to get a new contract? So I guess I'm confused on, like, you knowing an issue was there, and then you get that issue, and you think the issue's going to go away. That's bad football. The reason why we think that the Jets are a really, really good team, a lot of it is Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, because, you know, the stuff he's done in the past, right? But then you look at the team altogether. The new linemen they got, right? The running backs they have in the building, the new wide receivers they have, and the ones they had before. But then on the defense side of the ball, the defense was already good. Stop the run, this, and the third. But now we need a superstar pass rusher. And then you get him. And then when you get him, you're not even showing no real love. So it's like, you want me to come here, you hyped, and I know how the trades go. You know, because you don't want to leave a team, right, and they calling you like the Bills. When I traded me from the Bills, or the Eagles to the Bills, they give me all this hype. Yo, we're going to do this with you in the office. We're going to do this and that, all this stuff. We got Rex Ryan's new coach. All these great things. And I love all that. But the final piece to make the deal really go is the money. Because Drew Rosenhaus, my agent, said, we not going to Buffalo. Because you want a player that's unhappy? You want me happy. You want me excited. You want me to be here. You want me to give you my all. And we couldn't get that part of Shady McCoy unless you show me some love. But you show me that money, and that's what they did.
What's very interesting to me, and I don't
Can't you see? These is new.
I haven't seen anybody talk about it yet, is Joe Douglas was vice president of player personnel with the Eagles. Howie Roseman with the Eagles traded Haason Reddick to the Jets. Joe Douglas is the current general manager for the Jets. Surely Howie communicated to Joe what time it was. That's what also confuses me about this. Joe Douglas agreeing, I'm sure, with everything Joy, James, and Shady saying, hey, we got to pay Haason Reddick. But I'm sure Howie probably said, hey, big dog, this dude wants a crazy amount of money. The reason I'm so concerned is Haason Reddick isn't just a guy. He's the guy. I believe Haason Reddick is the missing piece, along with Aaron Rodgers playing at a high level for the Jets in the Super Bowl. Why do I say that? The reason I suggest that the Eagles got to the Super Bowl is Haason Reddick tearing Brock Purdy's UCL. Joy and Shady would say this ad nauseum. Brock Purdy wasn't taken out of the game. He was knocked out of the game. But if you really put a name on it, Haason Reddick knocked him out of the game. It wasn't the Eagles. It was the man on the bottom of your screen, number 7. Mind you, there was a wide open Brandon Ayuk on that play that had just beaten James Bradbury terribly, but we don't know about it because Haason Reddick takes Brock Purdy out of the game. Eagles go on to the Super Bowl. Haason Reddick isn't just a guy. He is the guy. Myles Garrett, Haason Reddick, only players in the National Football League 4 consecutive seasons with 10+ sacks. James Jones.
You know who else said that to the Jets? Haason Reddick and his agent. Just like you said, Rosenhaus said, hey, man, we ain't coming to Buffalo unless the money right. You think Haason Reddick and his agent didn't tell the Jets that, hey, bruh, you could trade for me, but I'm not walking in between these lines unless I have money. Or I would stay here with the Eagles and get my money here. It's just wild. This GM job is not hard. They making this GM job hard. It's not hard. If you trade for a player that want money, make sure you got the money when he get there to give him the money.
No doubt about
it ain't hard about that.
Well, I need somebody to give us the inside scoop on all this. So we're going to welcome in NFL insider Jordan Schultz. Jordan, you broke the story. Quite literally, all of this Haason Reddick drama, it started with the tweet that you put out about an hour and a half ago breaking this news. So no more important voice to listen to right now on national television than the one that will follow mine. Talk to me about what you heard, how you heard it, and how did we get into this situation?
Everything you all just said is spot on. Let me break it down for you. The Jets were informed before acquiring Haason Reddick from Philly that his contract needed to be addressed. The Jets made an offer prior to the trade with the Eagles. Haason Reddick, I'm told, turned that down. It was below market. The Jets and Joe Douglas still went ahead with the trade without a deal in place. Here's where things get interesting. Reddick then attended his press conference with the understanding that contract talks would continue. But I'm told no official proposal has been made since he joined the team. That was March 29th, 5-6 months ago. That's where things stand, and it's why, Acho, Reddick has not been with the team at minicamp, training camp, or any other camp. And it's why today's trade request was made. To James's point, it's not that difficult. It's simple. You not only knew that the dude wanted a new contract, he has 1 year left. He's going to turn 30. He's an all-pro. And to your point, Acho, there's only one other player in the National Football League with 4 consecutive seasons of double-digit sacks. He's pretty good. His name is Myles Garrett. Haason Reddick, a.k.a. the weapon, is the other guy. So it's really not that complicated. And yet the Jets made the deal. And not only that, they let Bryce Huff, ironically, walk to Philly. They traded John Franklin Myers, another pass rusher, so that they could get more contract room, more space on their cap. And they still have not made an offer since the trade. We're not talking the last couple weeks. They haven't talked the last couple weeks. They really haven't talked in 6 months. The Jets have not made a single offer to Haason Reddick since the trade
Schultz,
happened.
let me ask you this question. My first question is very simple. It seems like the Jets were aware Haason Reddick was going to demand a trade because they came out so quickly with their statement. In order for statements to occur, obviously the head of social media has to talk to the head of public relations. Head of public relations has to talk to the head coach. Head coach has to talk to the general manager. General manager makes a statement. He tells the PR. PR tells social. A lot of things have to happen, and that happened in about 10 minutes. So are the Jets being caught off guard by any of this, or do they know everything that's going on?
No, that's a great point. They're not being caught off guard. This really shouldn't be a surprise. Joy said it as well. It's not that complicated. So no, they're not surprised. They're not being caught off guard. And it almost makes it look like, considering what you just said, to put a statement up of that caliber, of that magnitude, it almost makes it look like, yeah, they already knew, because they did. And to your point, Joe Douglas was with Howie Roseman for a very long time in Philly. He was one of the guys there, and now he's the guy with the Jets. So this is not a surprise. And any football player, great football player, average guy trying to make the 53 will tell you, if you have already said you want that contract security and you're not going to get in between the lines, nothing is going to change until you get that contract security. Acho, James, and Shady, you can speak to that much better than me, but it's pretty simple to me. And as a result, I don't expect anything, to change. The Jets have already said they're not going to trade.
Schultz, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. How in the world does all of this chaos end? Because Haason Reddick is demanding a trade, and the Jets are saying, we're not trading you. Oh, and on top of that, we're fining you every day you're gone. So right now, they both got weapons drawn. How does this standoff end?
Well, considering where we're at, 3 weeks away from this season, 3 weeks. We're not in June anymore. I don't see Haason Reddick getting onto the field. I don't see him blinking. The Jets are hoping that their swift statement and their, we're going to win a championship together is going to make a difference. It doesn't, okay? So Haason Reddick has not been at minicamp or training camp. So he's not going to just show up week one and say, I'm ready to go. Other teams have done something like this before. The Niners did it with Bosa. It didn't work. They paid him $34 million. They did it with Debo. You remember Zeke holding out basically week one. But this is not a scenario, to me, where Haason Reddick is getting on the field without a new contract, and it's pretty cut and dry.
Schultz, thank you for that. And more importantly, thank you for all you do in the NFL world, breaking that news. I am following your social media handles for the next breaking news. Appreciate you. We'll talk more soon. James Jones, you had a lot of reactions while listening to him. What's your instant reaction?
My instant reaction is they haven't had any contract talks or talk to Haason Reddick since this press conference. Listening to Jordan, how do you not talk to a man for 4 months that you're trying to get on your ball club? That's a really important piece. To be honest with you, y'all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. But he might be a more important piece than Aaron Rodgers of what they do on the defensive side of the ball. They are going to win games this year strictly of how their defense plays. And yes, we could think Aaron Rodgers is going to get back to Aaron Rodgers and ball out. I hope so. But they hang their hat on the defensive side of the ball. And you got one of your most important players on your football team that you ain't even talking to or communicating about a contract in months. And you think in your mind that this dude, just because you finding him, is going to show up week one, ready to go? Come on, man. This is crazy, man.
Culture. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2010. This is a ridiculous situation for them to be in.
Very true.
Robert Saleh is a defensive coach. They're going to win on defense. Not without him, you're not. I mean, this matters. This is a silly situation to be in. You haven't talked to him since March? What the hell did you trade with him? What the hell are you doing? Why would you trade for him?
That's crazy.
This is not rocket science. We're not splitting the atom, okay? You have a top elite player who is a game changer, who is saying that he wants out from his current situation, which, by the way, is a much better situation than in New York, because of money. This is what he does for a living. You have to pay him. This is how this works. And now he's not at all going to be ready at the highest level that he could be. The team hasn't seen him. His teammates haven't seen him. They haven't been around him, all because of money. What are you surprised for? Why are you clutching your pearls? It was not a secret that he wanted a new deal. I don't know.
Who you blame for this? You've been in a situation not to the extent of having to hold out, but obviously Buffalo Bills, you alluded to it, they acquire you. You blame Joe Douglas for this, general manager of the Jets, Robert Saleh for this, head coach of the Jets, I believe Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets, Haason Reddick. Like, who you blame for this?
There's nothing to do with the head coach. I'm sure he's like, yo, we need him signing. I'm going with the GM, and I'm going with the owner. Like, why do we go out and trade this for this dude if we wasn't going to get him? Like, when you're designing the team and the roster, right, you got a guy like Quentin Williams in the middle that's going to shut things down, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You want somebody from the outside getting to him. So it's like when you put the team together, you knew you had to get him and pay him. That was an issue that's not going to go away. Another problem I have might be with Aaron Rodgers. As in, yo, if I'm A-Rod, yo, I gave money back so we can sign these players, right? Y'all forgot? I gave money back to the Jets so we can sign players, not sign some regular help-outs. Sign some of these stars, right? And I think that Haason Reddick is a big star. He's a big reason why the Jets will be successful. I don't understand this. I mean, when I was talking about, like, the Jets have a chance to compete in the playoffs, right, and make it there because they ain't been there in so long like Joey talked about, or even winning the AFC East, a lot of that was from the roster, from the quarterback, and from your outside rusher, Haason Reddick. What are we doing here? And then the last thing is, like, football is such a team sport. It's so much communication on defense, right? So now, I don't even know how, I heard he's really nice. I've seen some tape on him. Haason Reddick's really, really good, but I don't know how he really operates, right? Think about his teammates, his D tackles, his linebackers. I don't know how he operates. They haven't even seen him.
No, I'm with you, 2-5, because I always say, like, players got to win games. Coaches are great, all these things, and I know this firsthand because when I was playing with Shady, and we had Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and then we lost all of them seemingly in like a 12-week period. Players are the ones that win games. Haason Reddick wins games.
Yes, he do.
Like, Haason Reddick being better than your right tackle and Haason Reddick being better than your left tackle, he's the reason games are won and the reason games are lost. I believe Haason Reddick is probably the third most important player on that Jets roster. Aaron Rodgers, Quentin Williams, Haason Reddick. And I would probably suggest Haason Reddick more important even than Quentin Williams because of Haason Reddick's ability to get 15-plus sacks. Like, that matters. So you can't go into a season with realistic Super Bowl expectations if you don't have one of the three best players on your roster on the football field, let alone one of the best 5 pass rushers in the game of football on the football field. Find a way to pay him. I'm just wondering, Joy, does this end potentially like the Chris Jones situation last year? A lot of chaos, a lot of hoopla. He missed week 1 versus the Detroit Lions. The Chiefs lost. Travis Kelce, I believe, was banged up as well. But he missed week 1. Chiefs lost. Chiefs end up winning a Super Bowl. It was all fine. Chris Jones comes back. Chris Jones didn't have the season he's had in years past, but he was still Chris Jones. Does this still end well, or do you think even more chaotic?
Oh, I mean, it's the Jets. Of course it's going to be more chaos. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. They run different around there. And as bad as that situation was, they figured it out. They got it patched up, and he was already in the building. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.